officially on board.
They rolled us off. Hello there. Welcome back as we continue some of the review of our more recent trip. The first review video that we had focused more on the ship-specific stuff, the food, the service, the entertainment, those types of things. And now we're going to look at more of the locations, the itinerary, those sorts of things, and just kind of our review of that in comparison to other places we've been on other cruises, other trips.
Okay, well, first of all, we sailed out of a totally different city than we are used to. We usually sail out of Port Canaveral or Miami. This time we headed west to Seattle. So it was our first time being in the SeaTac airport, the Seattle-Tacoma airport. It was very different from...
Yeah, every single trip we take is always out of Midway, so we've been in and out of Midway.
We like Midway
quite a bit.
It's a great little airport.
Yeah. Yep.
It's not O'Hare, but anyway. I will say though, there were not very comfortable seats when we were waiting before we went to the actual gate. That was one down thing, but it was a...
Yeah, and even before we got to our gate area, there just wasn't a lot of comfortable places to sit. So maybe they, I don't know what the reason is, but there was not a seat pad to be found from the spaces that we walked through to get to the areas we were going through. It's like, man, they appreciate wood here in the Northwest.
Yes,
and you get to sit on it. And
the Orlando airport has very comfy chairs when you're waiting to go. Through security, through everything to get to your exit.
You can slide down and take a good nap.
Gate. That's the word I'm looking for.
There are sleep-worthy chairs to be found,
but not at Seattle. But it's still functional. It got us home. It got us there. It got us home. So other things that we did in Seattle, we went to the Pike Public Market and the Waterfront Park. We both thought those were great places to hang out and spend some time because we had lots of time to spend in Seattle the day before we went on the cruise and when we got off the cruise as well.
Yeah, the proximity of those places, like you said, Pike Market, the Waterfront, which is right there along the coast, and then their proximity to places like the Space Needle and all of that, in reasonable walking distance. Yes. You do have some hills you have to walk up, but they are close enough that you don't need to be getting a ride. You can fill a full day. We know because we had a full day to fill. You can fill a full day and in just a small area, making your way around with plenty of options for things to do. And on the waterfront thing at the very end, there were a lot of different things that you could do down there, especially family-related type things you could do.
It was a great playground.
Yeah, it was.
For kids.
I was kind of joking that it's like kind of like Navy Pier, but you add fun and locals because the Navy Pier is just not really fun, and a lot of locals don't really go to Navy Pier. It's people traveling to Chicago that for some reason, the tourists think Navy Pier is a place to go in Chicago. Meanwhile, locals just don't go there. But at Waterfront, it was locals. It was locals. It was tourists. It was people everybody enjoying. There was some sort of a concert venue that was set up on one of the pier areas that you could listen to from where we were at, but I don't know if it was a pay to get in. But we got to enjoy it for free while we were sitting and resting our feet from all the walking we did.
That was at the end of the day when we stopped recording because we were so tired.
Yep. The days that we were there, it was sunny or partly cloudy. It was comfortable to be around. We felt pretty safe walking around there. You know, if you're not used to being in a big city, you may be a little shocked to see like a homeless person somewhere sleeping. I didn't keep count, but I did notice a few. And part of it too is it was early morning, so we got off the ship. It's still those morning hours, and so we definitely, as we were making our way through different parks on the way to the Space Needle, noticed a few people that were still sleeping, trying to sleep. And so if you're not used to that, just know that's thing. But we didn't have anybody bothering us or trying to solicit anything like that. We didn't deal with anything like that at all. So we felt fairly safe just walking around normal. No issues whatsoever with that.
So like the Space Needle and the Chihuly Garden, they have a discount if you buy a package for tickets to both. So we took advantage of that because that would give us more things to do that last day. I really enjoyed the Space Needle.
I was so happy that the art place had lots of places to sit.
Yes. So you could just sit and look at the glass.
My feet were already sore, and so it's like, ooh, art. There's a seat. Let's go admire the art from the seat. Because I knew, it's like I already knew there was going to be a long day. There's not going to be a lot of opportunities to sit. So I'm just going to sit, enjoy, take a picture, move to the next seat for the next area.
So, but yeah, the Space Needle was fun, although I do have a fear of heights, and so just looking, especially when you're stepping on that glass floor, I was like, whoo, I don't like this. But, so then food that we had around Seattle, obviously we ate at Pike Market. We had the salmon mac and cheese, we had salmon chowder, and several other kinds of chowder. But on our last day, we stopped at a restaurant, a Hawaiian restaurant, between the Space Needle and Pike Market. And it was called Ohana. And of course, if you know me, I love Stitch, and so Lilo and Stitch, and so Ohana is a big thing in that movie.
Ohana means?
Family.
Family, yes.
And family means nobody gets left behind.
Yes.
But,
and so, we really loved food there. And even though it was a Saturday, because when you mentioned it, we were talking about it again, and she mentioned it as a Saturday. I was, for a Saturday, it wasn't really busy. There was a few other people there. The food was really good. People were friendly. I mean, it was kind of, I don't know, would you call it a hole in the wall kind of place?
Yeah, it was. Especially if you went back to the bathroom.
Yeah, it's like, it's kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but like I said, the food was really really good.
And I ate a lot of raw fish while. Excuse me.
So I think we definitely liked our time in Seattle, and I think
the game. The Mariners game.
Yes.
So we, like we've said before, we like when we go places, we like to try other like sports. Like, I mean, we're Chicago fans, but we're not opposed to other teams.
Going to baseball games in general is just a fun experience, and so for us, it was a matter of, hey, we've got a night to spend doing something. What do we want to do? Yeah. And it's like, hey, let's go see the Mariners. They've got, and they still have the league leader in home runs, and so there's a little excitement about that. They're a team that's in playoff contention and still are in contention in a good spot. And so, when you've got a team that's in contention for the playoffs, and you've got the home run leader, there's a little extra excitement. And so we're like, we want to go to games where there's some excitement going on. and so it was a lot of fun. We going to the park. It was a nice, really nice park.
It was.
The locals were really nice. We wore our Mariners shirts, so we blended in with the locals. And the gentleman, the people that we sat beside, the guy was actually just really impressed. I don't know how many times, at least 4 different times, where he was like, it's so cool that you do this, because he's just a really big fan of baseball. And sometimes baseball fans are just really, they love their team and they hate the other teams, and they just would never ever root for or go to another game where their team wasn't playing. And so the fact that we went to this game with neither one of these teams are our team, but we're gonna have fun and pretend like the Mariners are our team. We're gonna enjoy cheering for them just as if we were a local. He just thought that was just the coolest thing that we would take, that we would that's something we would want to do. And like I said, he said it like 4 or 5 different times. It's so cool. It's so cool that you guys do that. And you can tell he's one of those season ticket holders for his team. But he just thought it was cool that we were joining him. So we were Mariners fans with him. Tridents up, as they always were doing. I learned that. Tridents up for their Mariners team.
Yeah, but I will say, going to different parks, I mean, we've been to the White Sox park a lot.
Dozens.
And it smells like grilled onions there.
Love it.
Which it's a wonderful smell. But, we went to the Brewers game when we were in Milwaukee earlier.
It smelled like cheese because it had lots of cheese.
Lots of cheese. And this,
very, very different.
Very different foods at these different ballparks. And the Mariners was definitely very different from what I'm used to eating at a baseball game.
Yeah.
It's usually hot dogs, and I did not have a hot dog. I had pork sandwich. You had like another pork plate with rice and stuff.
The Aloha Bowl. And a lot of Hawaiian and Asian influences for some of the dishes that they had. Had that Spam and rice thing. That was
wrapped in seaweed.
Yeah, wrapped in seaweed. Yeah,
that was so good. I like that.
Spam with rice, wrapped in seaweed. Dig in. We ate it, and it was totally fine.
Yeah.
But there's just differences in, obviously you're in a different part of the country, different cultural influences, which impacts the kind of food you're gonna get. So in Chicago, you're gonna get a coronary, basically, you're gonna get some fatty things that are gonna clog you up.
Pizza and brats.
Yeah. So overall, just all of that Seattle experience is really good, but we've still got we got to get to some of these excursion sites.
Well, and I'll just say, included in Seattle, the embarkation, getting onto the ship from our hotel was right across the street, and so it took us 20 minutes, if even that. 20
minutes to be on board. Within 30 minutes, we were in the observation area and just enjoying everything.
And so, super easy. But we do want to say, again, when embarkation day, pack your swimsuit in your carry-on. So if you have time, that's usually a day that you have time to go to the pool. We usually do. Okay, so first Alaskan city that we visited was Sitka. And that's where we went to the Fortress of the Bears. We went to the Raptor Center. And then we went to the National Historic Forest, I think is what it's called, where they had the totem poles. And we got to walk around and look at totem poles once we found them. Yeah. That's also where we saw lots of salmon. The other places we didn't really, but...
Well, we saw the salmon at the Raptor place.
Yes, that's at Sitka.
Yes, that one, not at the... You still could see salmon when you were at the hike part. The glacier. There's a few spots where there was the water going along.
In the forest, yes.
In the forest,
yes. Yeah, there were 2 places that we saw salmon.
On this excursion, on this particular day, just to clarify. And so we were talking earlier, okay, would we? One of the questions is, would we do it again, or is it something that was lived up to our expectations or not? And so the bear one is the one that probably didn't live up to my expectations. It felt like visiting a bear just like you would at the zoo, And so
it was an old mill that they've repurposed to hold the bears, is what it is. And it just kind of felt sad a little. And it's You just walk up and look at it, but it's like you do at a zoo.
Yeah.
But I did like how they were researching
Yeah.
things.
It's one thing, your money's going to a good cause.
Yes.
That's the feel good side of it, is that. But as far as entertainment value and going through that, and then going through their gift shop and all of that,
it was like real quick. Like there wasn't much to walk around.
Yeah. You were there like an hour total, I think.
Yeah.
And then how long were we there at the Raptor?
We were probably there an hour and a half,
a little bit more,
2 hours maybe.
Because
that was more entertaining too. Like, and plus we had a little hike that we could go through too. And we went and looked at the salmon.
You got to see quite a variety of different birds and owls and things like that. So you got to see a few more different things. Got to see them up close, because those are things you don't normally get to see.
And they're being rehabilitated and released.
Yep. And also the feel good. You're supporting something that's really important and providing a sanctuary for those, especially the large area where they had different eagles all in there that were recovering because they had been injured in some way, and they were trying to recover their ability to fly. And if they didn't recover their ability to fly, well, then they had a place for them to go to. But it was
like the one golden eagle, he was missing his flight feathers, and they were not going to be growing back, so he was stuck there. But
and that was our first time to be able to hike through the rainforest, because the area where you're at for these excursions is tropical rainforest category. And so our first time being able to hike through there and look at the different kinds of trees and the moss growing on things, and then go see the salmon and all that. And so that location was definitely lived up to the expectation. That was great.
And the totem place I liked a lot too. I wish I could have watched more of, because they actually had somebody actually carving a totem pole. Like I would have liked to have watched him do it, but we just didn't have the time once we were done. Once we got to the visitor center, after hiking through the whole thing. But on that day we had a driver named Luke, and when he first started, it's like, oh boy, he's going to be boring. But he was actually a lot of fun.
Yes.
He was still he was very calm, very like, this is what's going on. This is the kind of tree we have over here. This is what this is. That gave us the history of the Fortress of the Bear, the Raptor Center, the history of Sitka. But he still had dad jokes, which were fun.
Yep. And so one of the things with the excursions is you get to pick, sometimes you can get an excursion where it's for one thing. And then there's lots of packages where it's like you get 2 things or 3 things as a package. And so I would look at something that has a combined package of different things, and I'd probably get a different combination for a tour. But anyways, it's all right.
But Sitka, highly recommend. Go to Sitka.
Yeah, there's definitely good things to get off the ship for that.
Yes.
Next stop
was Juneau, and
everything about that stop lived up to its expectations.
That was when we went to the Mendenhall Glacier, and we hiked to Nugget Falls, and we dipped our toes in glacial water that was 34 degrees. Yes, 10 out of 10, highly recommend it. Would we do it again? We'd probably do something a little different in Juneau, because there's so many different things to do.
And one of the things, like I said, with different kinds of excursions, sometimes there's an excursion like, if I didn't do it, would I have missed out on something? For certain excursions, no, I wouldn't have missed out anything. But there's just some excursions where you need to do it at least once. Like so, this is one. If you've never been to Juneau, you need to go do this. After you've done it, well, then you can look at, hey, there are some other things that you can do too. So while we may not necessarily do this particular excursion to Nugget Falls and the Mendenhall Glacier, we may not necessarily do that on another trip to Juneau. We're absolutely thrilled that we did it this time, because it was just phenomenal. And just being able to stand there out away from the waterfall and just kind of spin around and just see so much beauty all around that space was
hiking
amazing.
Through a rainforest to get to hiking. It was a paved path. But
It was a little rocky towards the end as you're getting
Yes.
there because you need to get down towards the level.
But
where,
I mean,
you know,
like the moss on the trees, like it just looked. It's so different than from Illinois.
Yeah.
I'll just say that. Like.
So yeah, so all of those things. Plus, we stopped at the little restaurant, the little to get some food on the way back.
No, that was in Sitka.
That was in Sitka.
Sitka.
Gotcha.
We forgot to mention the pelmeni in Sitka.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I really liked it though.
Yeah, it was one of those things. Probably one of those things. Like, yeah, you need to do it once just to try it. We'd seen different people that had eaten there and tried it, and it was tried. It was tried. It was different. It was good.
They
I
were
enjoyed
Russian,
it. We
Russian
ate.
dumplings,
Yeah.
filled with potato, and we had some filled with beef.
Yeah.
But I will say, between Sitka and Juneau, there's two places that I want to go next time we go there. In Sitka, I want to go to, is it St. Michael's? It's the Russian Orthodox church that's in the middle of town. I would love to go visit that. And then in Juneau, there's St. Teresa's. It's a Catholic church, but they also have like a prayer garden and stuff like that. Videos I've seen about it are amazing, and like people say that they see whales from St. Teresa's a lot.
Okay.
So I'm like, let's try that next time.
and I'll say this too, because this was something, and you know, as different times of the season, there's different things that are available, but I definitely remember hearing people who had whale watching excursions in Juneau got to see the orcas. And the orcas was what I was really hoping to be able to see. The humpback whales is what she was really wanting to see. When we did the excursion, the whale watching excursion in the Icy Strait, that one we got to see the bubble feeding the humpback whales. So, you know, if we were going back to Juneau again, I'd be like, we are doing the whaling tour there. The whale tour there, so that way we could see the orcas. So just know that if you have some preferences on what kind of whales you're hoping to see, maybe just do a little bit more research to figure out which whale tour kind of is better for seeing that. Because I definitely remember hearing people talk about seeing orcas in the Juneau area as opposed to the one that we went on. So. And
then also our driver in Juneau couldn't have been the more opposite of Luke, who we had in Sitka. This guy, his name is Stockton, but every time he'd say something like, oh, that could get him in trouble, he's like, my name is Carter, and I'm on bus, and he'd give us the wrong number of bus.
Yeah.
Because
if you had to complain about
something. If you had to complain about something, you'd be blaming Carter, not Stockton. Yeah. But yeah, he was out there.
Yeah.
But
he got us everywhere we needed to go safely.
It gave us great
easily.
Information, the history that I loved about.
So everything was fine in Juneau as well.
There were some pushy salespeople there, but we won't go into that.
I mean, it's you're basically going down a jewelry alley where there's just this long row of all these different places, all selling jewelry, all
come in.
And with people out in the streets, you know, out on the sidewalk, trying to invite people in. And I get it, you know, that's their thing. They're trying to sell stuff. So. Anyway, so the next stop was...
well, we didn't have a really stop because we sailed through the glaciers. So, like, we went into Endicott Arm, and we went past the Hanging Glacier, and on our way to Dawes Glacier is where we ended up.
And so this is something where, because this is our first time doing an Alaskan cruise, this is the only glacier experience that we got to experience. So we can't compare that to other places. So some people that have been on multiple Alaskan tours going to different areas, different glacial paths to see different glaciers, they can kind of compare and say, hey, if you can go in this pass instead of the other, this is the one to do. So we have no point of comparison, personal comparison. But our first time being able to see these glaciers and get in there. But just when you've got these mountains and this little glacial valley where you're going through on a ship to go through, the view, looking around as you're making your way through there was just absolutely stunning. And this, once again, makes the value of the observation lounge on the Bliss so helpful for a cruise like this. Because we know for the Disney Wonder is the only ship that they have currently that does Alaskan cruises. And there's no viewing space like that on the Wonder as opposed to the Bliss. You know, and if you're standing outside of a ship to look at the different glacier stuff going on. Well, that view is going to look the same no matter what ship you're on, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you're outside and you're looking outside and you're looking at things. So there's, that's going to be the same from one ship to the next. But for the Bliss, being able to be in the comfort of the seats and the couches and the things that they had in that lounge area with readily available food, meaning you don't have to miss anything. Go get your food, go get your drinks, set it there, sit, watch. We were there for a couple hours just watching that whole trip in and out. And we didn't have that long of a trip because the observation lounge was on the front of the ship. It didn't take us long to get down to the way we needed to go to get out on the deck. To the bow of the ship. To the bow of the ship.
But I will say, so because the observation lounge is a public space, it was very loud in there. And we ended up sitting behind two ladies and they were telling us, they were talking about their shopping the whole time. And I'm like, we're watching this beautiful creation sail by, and it's like, you're gonna talk about shopping? Like, we just sat there and watched. We didn't really talk much. When Diane came by, we chatted a bit, but even then, it was just wow. Yeah. And then, so in hindsight, I wish we had gone outside a lot sooner.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't that cold. Like, I thought I'd freeze out there. From previous video, like other reviews that I've seen, but it was actually not that bad, and that's the only thing I felt. So next is Icy Strait Point, or Hoona, which is another, like, there were two little towns in that area. Hoona is where we ended up going shopping and getting our lunch, but Icy Strait Point is where we did the whale watching. Excursion,
and that excursion left directly off the ship. So as soon as we got off the ship, we got in line. I thought we were going to have to, some excursions you're there and then you got to go to the shuttle to take you to where you're going. None of that. It was the for where the Norwegian was docked. The whale tour went right from there, so it was so easy to go on. And just the only recommendation I would have on that. Well, first off, if you're going to be on the ship, you need to be in the front of the ship in the lower deck. So you can get to the front part easily without, otherwise you're behind a lot of people trying to get out there. So you can get out there easily. But I would also recommend, depending on what you're wanting to see, from what I gathered from hearing other people talking about what they saw on their whale tour that went before us, which there's only one group that went before us. So we were like group number 2 of maybe 4. Maybe they had 4 different groups going out during the day. So the first group came in, and from what I heard, the first group got to see a lot of the breaching, which is when the whales are jumping out of the water and splashing and all that. They got to see.
They're waking up in the morning and woo!
So it sounded like they got to see the breaching. We didn't see a single breach. We saw lots of feeding, lots and lots of feeding. So I'm not a behaviorist for whales, but it sounded to me like they were starting their day, waking up, having fun, playing around, and then they worked up an appetite and then spent our whole time eating. Mm-hmm. And so if you're really wanting to see some more of that breaching, you probably want to make sure you're getting booked as early as you can in the day, because their behavior changes as the day moves on. I'm assuming, again, I'm not a whale observation person.
We have to do more research about
that. We saw 0 breaches, where it seemed like the previous one got to see quite a few.
But still, the bubble feeding.
It was still amazing. It was still great to see, and you still get those nice tail videos of them coming out and their tail following along.
Well, then they talked about
it was still worth it entirely.
There's one part where all the whales were kind of like on their backs and they're just kind of flapping their fins. And she's like, yeah, they do crash into each other, and it's like 2 like city buses like banging into.
2 things as big as city buses. So it was still just absolutely wonderful, worth it, because that was one of the things we had to make the trade-off for with our changing of rooms, was changing from a balcony room to an inside state room, from an October cruise to an August cruise, specifically so we could see whales and have a better likelihood of seeing it and being able to enjoy it. And we were. The weather, everything just cooperated to where we got to really enjoy that experience.
Yes. Highly recommend.
Yes.
I forgot to put the city on here, but Ketchikan, we did not have an excursion there. I don't know. If we want I would like to spend a lot more time in the city than what we had.
Yeah, we're going to put that as a to be determined, like our assessment of it. Our assessment of where Norwegian has to have their ship docked was kind of like, oh, we're in the boondocks.
Yeah.
It was had a little bit more of a drive. We had to get a shuttle to take us all the way into downtown where the shopping was. That takes time out of your already limited time.
Yes.
So we weren't a fan of the Norwegian parking spot that they have because other cruise ships
and Holland
right
America
there.
parked right there.
So I mean that right there means that whatever amount of time they have at the pier, you're going to have almost an hour more to be able to shop and eat or whatever you're wanting to do.
Yeah.
So we didn't get to enjoy too much other than just traditional shopping for a few things.
Yeah.
And so we're going to kind of hold out the jury. We're going to, what is it? The jury's
jury's still out.
The jury is still out on Ketchikan. Other people can give you better reviews.
Something that I've learned since we've been in Ketchikan, it's talked about it's Alaska's first city. It's not because it's the first, it's because it's the first one you get to when you're sailing from Vancouver or Seattle to Alaska. Even though it was the last city we went to, but it's the first city you come to.
As you're traveling northwest, it's the first city of Alaska you get to.
Yeah.
So.
And it's also the salmon capital, which I only saw dead salmon in Ketchikan. Yep. But we didn't go to the
actual creek too much to there's a particular area you can go to where you can
and they have
see
they have a special bridge thing for them and
So the jury's still out for the most part because we just didn't get have the kind of time to enjoy it the way that we would normally like to enjoy something like that.
And then our last city is Victoria. And oh my gosh. I've honestly been like, when we retire, can we move to Victoria? Like, I would love to at least spend a lot more time than 3.5 hours there. Yeah. It was a beautiful...
And we were back, actually, we weren't even there 3 hours because we were back 8:30, 8:45, I think, is when we were back with...
No.
Or sorry, 10:30, 10:45 is when we were being dropped off by rickshaw. Yeah. And so we got off at 8. So
we just want to say, if you have a stop in Victoria, you may be like, oh, it's only 3.5 hours. Why get out? Get off the ship. It's a beautiful city. You need to go see it.
And it's the nighttime. It was just a beautiful city with the lights and the different things. It was Even if you don't take a rickshaw, even if you just take the paid shuttle that they have to take you right down to the downtown area, just do some shopping. And it just really did look beautiful. So.
Yes, and we highly recommend do a rickshaw at least once in your life.
If you don't do it there, do it somewhere.
And hopefully you'll get somebody as great as who we had. Drake was just a wonderful guide.
Yes, it was. Like I said, it was something where initially like the cost of it, but the cost of it was the same as a regular excursion. So it was $125 per person. You could throw on a tip too if you wanted after that. But most excursions for Alaska were $125, $150 a person anyways. So it was kind of like an excursion, but it was our own personal excursion as opposed to being on a bus with a bunch of people where one tour guide is giving information to everybody. So it was our own private, personal, intimate tour ride on a rickshaw with blankets and enjoying the city. So it was worth it. It was worth it for us, especially considering we had canceled one of our other excursions. We had one that was scheduled for Ketchikan that we canceled. And initially, we're like, maybe we'll book an excursion later. We never got around to booking another excursion, and so I kind of figured that too when we heard the price. It's like, I don't know if that's worth it or not. And like, you know what? We were already going to spend that money anyways, and so we're good. And so we enjoyed it.
And of course, as a history lover, I loved all the little history facts that Drake gave us, and so
And so that's our itinerary. Those are the stops we had. That's just how we felt about each of those, and what we liked about them overall. So
So will you go again?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely do another Alaskan cruise. We'll try to hit a couple other things. We'll probably try to hit one of the other glacier paths that you can go on. We'll want to hit Skagway to get on that train ride that they have there. And usually they go through Juneau no matter what. We'll do the other whale excursion. We'll find an itinerary that lines up. But absolutely, wouldn't mind doing the same ship, just a slightly different itinerary to get some new things in the mix next time. So.
Honestly, I feel like I'd like to do Alaska on our own, like not on a cruise. Just because I don't want to be on the cruise terms, like you can only be in this town from this time to this time. Like I'd like to spend a couple days in Juneau or a couple days somewhere else. I'd like to go to Anchorage, because cruise ships don't go up there.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, yes, we loved Alaska. We highly recommend going if you ever get to go. If you get the opportunity, just go.
The people were all so very nice, and all of the places that we went, just very nice and courteous. Even though some of those places were so busy because you got so many cruise passengers going through. But
and you have 3 ships with 4,000 people, tourists on it, plus crew. Yep. A lot of people.
But yes, we will definitely be back to Alaska at some point in the mix. We'll throw that in there again.
Yep. So thanks for watching. Bye. It likes my hand more than yours.
Yeah, I'm sitting here trying to do different Spider-Man things to make the camera come on, and it just didn't work. And then and it comes on.